Okay, let's just start and see what happens. Hey guys, Dave, the NC Picker, and I've got Carrie with me.
Hello, Carrie, American Arbitrage.
Yep, and how you doing today, Carrie?
Pretty good, man. How are you? I've been good myself.
Good. Well, we are doing a reselling podcast, and we do this. We're gonna
Yes.
try to do this weekly. This is called the Trash to Cash podcast. We've decided on a name. We've
I love it, man.
oof.
The
I
alliteration.
Yeah. Well, I got some negative comments about it, saying it was like too negative, but I think that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, we want a little bit of controversy. We are,
Yeah.
the bad boys of reselling here. So,
Yeah, speaking of bad boys, now we talk mostly about reselling, but I need to come right off the top and say that I was so bored today when I went and saw Dune on your recommendation, dude. That movie is a freaking snooze fest, and I don't know how you
oh,
like
dude, you don't like intergalactic politics?
it. Yeah, so that's why
Dude,
my
I loved
favorite
it.
Star Wars was Episode 2,
Yeah, just
the Trade
in the
Federation.
big hall or whatever.
It's okay, so it was good, but like, oh, and listen, I part of my day job, I work and sell things to cinematographers and like super film nerds. I'm
Okay.
not one. I never will
Ah,
be. Super slow cinematography, like in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and the new redone. What was that other? Dang it. Well, anyways, this one.
Rush Hour 2?
No, Rush Hour 2 was great. I
Oh,
love the pacing of
it
Rush
was
Hour
good.
2.
It was a little bit better than Rush Hour 1.
No, dang it. Blade Runner, the new Blade Runner. Did you see
Oh,
that?
it's the same. It's the same director,
Ah, it makes perfect
uh,
sense why I was bored
Denis
again.
Villeneuve, or however you say it. He did Blade Runner. He did Arrival.
What's his name?
If you've seen
Oh, yeah,
Arrival,
that was boring.
um, Denis Villeneuve. It's
Then
French. I
I'm
don't know.
not going to see you anymore.
Dude, I like that cinematography. I
A
love
lot of people
the
do.
scope of it and stuff.
I get it. And listen, I think actually like the world they're building is cool, and
Yeah,
it's really just like the backstory. This whole thing felt like the background story, and like the actual movie hasn't happened yet. That's how I walked away.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah. And I liked it. I
Yeah.
liked a lot of the elements, and we're not going to do any spoilers. I just wanted to say that I thought it was very slow, and I brought my 11-year-old and my 13-year-old. My 11-year-old slept for an hour and a half. Literally was
My girlfriend, I think, was playing on. I think Dawn was playing on her phone
yeah.
for like half of
And
it.
my son was just like, ah. But I liked it. It's just if I edited it, I'd give it a little bit of a TikTok treatment and shrink it
Just
down
like,
by
yeah,
like an hour.
yeah, you could definitely shrink Dune down by about an hour. The thing is with it is it's. I don't know if you saw the '80s one,
I
but
think I did, but I can't remember.
it's. I just remember it being super complex and annoying.
That's
Like it was just
yeah, yeah.
they I don't know if dumbed it down is the right word, but they really kind of made it a lot more succinct than the original. Maybe I'm comparing it to the one I saw in the '80s. It just seemed like it flowed better. I was really interested in the story. You're right though; it was kind of just a build up to the start of the story.
Yeah, and
That's a good way to put it.
I was like a lot of time I was just sitting there concerned like there's no way my 13-year-old gets what's happening because even though it's dumbed down, it's still pretty complicated. Like
See,
with
yeah,
the future stuff.
I don't have kids, so I never have to think about today. I'm just like I'm there for me, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's good.
That's a lucky thing.
Yeah,
Okay, anyways, reselling. That's why we're really here. So,
yeah, guys.
yeah, how was your weekend so far? Did you do any sourcing?
Oh yeah, dude, all
You
weekend.
go to yard sales?
Honestly, there was no yard sales. It was raining here in
Ah,
Utah. It's starting to be winter and late fall, so we're probably pretty much done in northern Utah with the garage selling and sourcing. So we went to a couple. Well, yesterday we went to the DI and Savers, me and Don,
what's the
and
DI for
like
anyone who
I can
doesn't
go.
know, Carrie?
Yeah, Deseret Industries. It's the Mormon run, the one that's kind of well known in some YouTube circles. It's where Osborne to Thrift goes
Yeah.
and finds all those great deals. So it's pretty inexpensive, church run thrift store, pretty big here in Utah. It's like the main one. We went there and we went to Savers, and I could have been in and out of both in like 40 minutes, but Dawn, like 7 trips around, has to check everything. She's like, "Did you know this? Pancake turner is worth $12 and it's only $1." And I'm like, "Yeah, we can make money on it, but I don't want to sell it.
Yeah.
It's weird.
How much time
I
how
don't
much
know.
time do you spend comping at the thrift store? A lot more than yard sales, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and a lot of my comping is more for TikTok. Like I want to know so I could tell them
Yeah.
exactly what I think it's going to go for. I could wing it probably at this point and do
I
okay
really like
without
I
my
feel
phone.
like I should go to thrift stores, but we have basically just the Goodwill here and everything is outlandish.
Ooh,
So I guess
I'm
I
so
could
sorry. Yeah,
I
Goodwill.
could go and just say, I'll just get a bunch of don't buys. Don't buy this for $18. It's only
Dude,
one
those
worth
those
$1.
videos do well, man. I just did another one like right item, wrong price. That's like a new one. It's
Yeah.
like it's a cool item, but which happens all the time in reselling. It's like I want to buy
Yeah.
this, but you priced it in a way that's stupid, so I
Yeah.
can't. And you're not selling online. If you're selling online, cool, more power to you, but you're selling
Yeah.
locally, so you're not going to get it, and I guess it's going to sit until you throw it out. I don't know what's going to happen
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
this
I
stuff.
mean, they
So,
must throw it to the bins or something. I don't know. Not really sure.
yeah, I don't know what they do,
So
man.
I did go yard sailing yesterday, and it was
Let's
weird because it was the
go.
first time in a while that I went alone. I usually have either a kid with me or my mom or Paul the Philly Flipper or the OBX picker. I've had a lot of
Yeah,
company picking lately, and so it was kind of relaxing, just kind of doing my own thing. But have
it's a
I had a
lot.
special guest with me the whole trip, two of them, two special guests, a guy named Kerry and his girlfriend named Dawn accompanied me via podcast the whole morning.
Oh, did you
I
listen
went
to
and
it,
caught
man?
up on the Dawn and Kerry podcast, the American
That's
Arbitrage
awesome,
podcast,
dude.
and yeah, I thought it was interesting. I definitely think she's just like better than you in every way. Like there's no
No, it's
denying
true.
it.
It's true. She's yeah.
She's an all around better
You're
person.
a definite. No, I mean you're. I mean I think it's well established. People who watch your channel and
Yeah,
whatnot, and the six people who will watch
yeah,
this podcast know what a terrible person you are, and she's
yeah.
much better.
No,
She's much better.
I
Just so
think
you,
you're misunderstanding
monster
me.
is what I typically think. No, oh, am
Okay,
I
but no,
just okay? Yeah,
so as
probably.
I'm yard sailing, you and Don are talking about how important it is to have an arrow sign to lead you to a garage sale. Okay?
So
And
true.
I disagree. I could care less about an arrow. And I wanted to talk to you about this because for me, if you only put an arrow on your garage sale sign, I'm not going. I'm not going
What?
because there's a very strong
What?
chance that sign's from 2 weeks ago or that sign's from a month ago or and I'll follow it and in our area, dude, they'll put like a sign with an arrow on the main stretch and you turn and there's no more signs. And you'll just drive for like
Well, that
20
happens here
minutes
too.
and there's nothing. So if I see just an arrow, I just like, not going to that one. I have to see an address. Preferably a date, but even just an address, I'll check it out so I can type it in my.
I can understand the date part. The address is what annoys me more than anything because I don't know. If I see an address, and only an address, I'm passing it nine times out of 10. I'm not stopping and writing it or
Well, and
putting it in
that's
my
the
phone or
difference. Is
anything.
I
So
I literally pulled over like 4 times to the side of the road, got out of my car, walked up to the sign, typed it in my GPS, and then drove off.
I mean, like that is such a Dave thing. Like I totally get why
Yeah,
you did that.
yeah,
I understand. Like you would. I feel like you're neurotic
I
enough
am.
that you would feel like you
I am.
missed your million
Yeah,
view video and your $1 million fine by not going to that garage
and
sale.
it's funny
So
because like okay, so my normal like mode of operations is, and this is totally not going to be something you do, which is why I want to talk about it. Friday night, I hop on my computer and I spend about 2 hours finding yard sales on Facebook, Yard Sale Treasure Map, and Craigslist. All three.
you're just
All three.
total
And I
nerd,
sit
dude.
there and I punch them into this maps program. I can't remember what it's called. They don't sponsor me, so I'm not saying the name anyways. But they let you do a bunch of ads. It's not MapQuest. It's
MapQuest,
another
yes.
one that's better. It's actually significantly better. I should reach out and see if we can get a sponsorship because it is really good.
Let's do it, dude.
But it's kind of expensive, which is why I don't really want to recommend it. But anyways, and I'll type into like 30 different addresses, and what it does, Carrie, why it's cool is it will actually look at where you start, and it'll map them out as the quickest possible route. Like a lot of like UPS drivers and FedEx
Yes.
drivers use this app.
I know
Okay.
that app. Actually, I've used it for delivering
Exactly.
furniture and
So
stuff.
it's really cool. And so I will spend like 2 hours Friday night. Like that's what I don't have time to edit or ship or anything Friday night. Friday night is my yard sale finding night. And so this week I found a bunch of yard sales, but there was like a lot of travel, like a ton of travel, like 3 hours of driving. And so I get down, like, and I went south first, which I don't normally start south. It's much more like rural, I think is the correct term. And a lot of times the yard sales are really a lot of trash. But since there was like 5 of them, I decided to start down there. And when I get down there, I just see so many signs, and I started to realize I think that area is more about the signs than advertising online. I don't like a bunch of the ones I found were just signs. Whereas normally when I go up towards like the Raleigh City Cary area, the U area of North Carolina,
Yep,
there's
the
like
me
very
area.
few
Yeah,
signs. It's all like advertised online. And so I ended up, I guess, what did the American Pickers used to call it? Freestyling this Saturday. And I actually enjoyed it a lot.
yeah.
But again, the signs that had just an arrow, I ignored. I was ignoring one while you
Well,
and Dawn were talking about how all you want is an arrow. And I'm like, oh.
I just I mean I get what you're saying is at least the date part I understand. The address, I don't know. I hate the address because I don't want to stop, get out of the car, take my notebook book out, put my glasses on, just chill there and just breathe in the air. Whatever the heck
Monocle.
you're
I use
doing,
a
wasting
monocle.
time, dude. Well, yeah, monocle while they're stealing all the, you need to be there first to steal. Don't let the other people steal
Yeah,
the stuff
dude.
before you can.
We can talk about that in a minute. I've been working on
All
getting some
right.
rage on TikTok lately, so we can talk about
Oh, dude, yeah, we had a good discussion
that.
about one of
Yeah,
your
I
videos.
mean, okay, so I think, and you and Don came to the same conclusion. The best case scenario is address plus arrow. That that makes
Yeah,
everyone
I think that's
happy.
probably best.
Yeah,
That makes everyone happy. There's the right choice,
the
which is
wrong
the
choice,
arrow,
which
and
is my
then
thing.
it'll cater to the
Morons.
neurotics as
Okay,
well.
fine, whatever.
I'm just playing. No, yeah, no, I'm just teasing you, man. You're right. I agree.
No, I was trying to think. There was something else that you were talking about that I wanted to bring up, and I didn't write it down. See, I wrote the thing down, and that's the thing I remember. So
It's a sign of a good
yeah, just a bunch of
podcast right
talking
there.
points. Oh yes, I remember now.
Just
And
nobody
actually, we got
remembers
a
any.
negative comment. So we uploaded this on my NC Flipper YouTube channel, and we got this as a negative comment. And I thought it was like kind of weird when you said it too, but I didn't bring it up. You had mentioned, and then you did a whole podcast with Dawn about how in the future a social media presence is going to be required
Oh yes, I saw
for
that.
you to be a reseller. And I know kind of what you mean, but I wanted to talk about it a little bit because obviously I don't think that you absolutely will need a social media presence to resell, and I don't think you think that either. I think you're saying it can be a really good part of a successful reselling business. Isn't that more what you meant?
Yeah. I think it's going to be more and more vital and more helpful as the years go on because as you know, inevitably what's going to happen here is people are going to be leaving or losing these typical jobs that they're in. And I think there's going to be more and more resellers. Being on social media is another income stream, number one. And it's a way to get a lot of contacts with people so that you can get deals. I think it's an important part of a business. You don't have to do it. No, you definitely don't have to do it. But I think it will be
Well,
super helpful. I think it would be
it's
helpful for most
marketing. Any
everybody.
marketing is good. Like, exposure is good.
Yeah, it's marketing. And I think it's going to become more of a marketing business the further along we go. We're in the beginning of resellers being outside of American Pickers and the Storage War guys, like actually being known anywhere beyond their neighborhood, with the YouTube. And that's happening with every genre. The people who do ant farms, there's like, ant farm con where there's that one Elvis dude who does ant farms, and then everybody's like, just getting
No, he
autographs. I
lives near
mean, all that's
Vegas.
happening in
He
our
probably lives
community and
near Vegas
elsewhere.
because he knows all the
Yeah, of
cons
course,
that are
dude.
going on.
Exactly.
Okay,
Ant
so
farm con,
and I think you're sort of
ants
right, right?
con.
Like we went and saw two movies today. I like to do double features when I go. I don't know if you ever do that, but we went at
I love to when I
12:45, me and
can.
my
Yeah,
whole
for
family,
sure.
and we saw Ron's Gone Wrong, which is the animated like little robot that. Have you seen the trailer for this? Okay, so
No, no,
basically,
never
it
even
was
heard of it.
better than Dune. No offense, Dune. Dune was good. Ron's Gone Wrong was better. So basically, this is like
All right,
an alternate
never heard
reality
of
where
it.
instead of Apple owning our souls, it's a company called Bubble, right? And Bubble has like this guy
Nice.
who's like a visionary Steve Jobs esque fellow, and he's created this little robot. And these robots you're gonna sell to kids, and they're gonna help you make friends, right? And they're called the I can't remember what they're called, the
Hmm.
Bebop or Bebot, yeah. And this kid doesn't have a lot of
Nice.
money, and so his dad ends up buying like a black market broken Bebot, and it's all jacked up and it doesn't work properly. But the overarching idea of this really good animated movie is that like the society is becoming like so reliant on social media and stuff that you basically have your little social media bot constantly taking pictures, uploading them, liking people, sending friend requests, and they don't even like people who are like good candidates to be friends. If their B bots say they don't have enough in common, then they won't become friends. Right? They rely on this thing, and so
Interesting.
what's interesting, and I know there's an episode of Black Mirror like this too, where like you can look at someone and give them a rating. Have you ever watched that show? Yeah. So
I
it's like
have seen a
that
few episodes. Yeah,
future
it's
weird
intense.
society where like if you want to resell, you're gonna buy it from one of the resellers you follow and one of the resellers you like and one of the resellers who has a good personality and like that is I see what you're saying like in the hopefully far future when people are even more reliant on technology. We're already too reliant on it.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's inevitable though. I just think it's going to
But
become
yeah, I
more and more
think at
ingrained
that
in what we
point,
do.
like, I guess if I wanted to buy another Austin Powers action figure, I would probably check the people I follow first to see if they're selling it on eBay, right? Because why not support the people you like? So,
Exactly. Exactly. Or you might even DM somebody on
yeah,
Instagram and say, "Hey, do you have this action figure?" Because not only are you supporting
exactly.
them, but
So
you're
I
probably
think
going to
there
get a
is
deal.
validity. I don't think you guys who are out there hearing this, we're not telling you you have to go start a TikTok, you have to start a YouTube to resell. You definitely can be successful without it, but it will help you market your goods, market your wares. You're gonna show people, hey, I've got this Austin Powers, and if you were big enough, if you were like some huge reseller like Froggy now, who's blowing up like crazy, it's like nuts. I blink and he gets up
I know, it's
30K
insane.
subs. You could show this. I get 10 messages. Hey, can I buy your Austin Powers? Like, I know, Carrie, you do it in the thrift store all the time. You show them something and they message you and they say, hey, I'll buy that from you.
Dude, all the time. Yesterday, I mean, it happens with my stories a lot. I sold two of the VHS that I bought in the store, or like by the time I got home. The other, almost all the rest of them are already gone on eBay, and I'm assuming they probably found me through.
Yeah.
It's like it was a name I recognized, like a screen name, but I don't know their actual name offhand. So yeah, no, it helps a ton. It really, really does. And I want to
No, it's reiterate. Reiterate.
reiterate what Dave said. It's 100% reiterate. I want to reiterate what Dave said.
Yeah.
It's necessity. We have to be doing this,
That's
guys,
not what I
which is
said.
what I took from what you said. No, I'm just kidding. It isn't, but there is something to this in reselling, and this is an extreme way to explain it. And I did talk
Yeah.
about this in a podcast with Don, because I've suffered from this many times in my reselling career, just in the last 10 years. This is a constant process of adapting or going extinct would be a nice way to put it, but adapting or dying. You know, for example, with our business, our furniture business, Facebook has changed a lot. We have a big following, but now they're not pushing out the stuff like they used to. So we're kind of pivoting from the furniture part of it. And Dawn's going to do more of it for the content angle and then selling some stuff on, like her website and stuff, not so much in store like we did for 5 or 6 years. So reselling is always, and it's the same with like finding items. VHS sealed cassettes are kind of hot at this moment. In 6 months, it'll be something else. And if social media will help you, I would encourage people, if you're, for most cases, it's either going to help you or, and if you're nervous about it, most cases it's just you're just nervous about it. I would just encourage you to fight your fear of it and try it out. You'll make
Yeah.
some great friends, get some good connections, and
Yeah. And I do realize I held up an Austin Powers and talked about him, and it's a podcast, so people might be listening to an audio. It wasn't that exciting, guys. It was
it was
literally just
groovy.
an action figure
Yeah,
of. It was groovy, yeah. I
yeah,
mean, it was just an action
groovy,
figure, though.
baby.
If you just Google image search Austin Powers action figure, you'll probably
That's
see it.
really the ultimate companion piece to our podcast. Is it just
Yeah.
have an iPad or your computer, your other screen, just be googling what we're talking about as you
While you're
go.
driving.
This, if you're in a Tesla, you can do it. Yeah, guys, if you're driving, don't do that. I shouldn't have
Yeah,
to
you
tell
know
you
what's
that, though.
actually, but this gives me an idea. We could totally do branded trash to cash Austin Powers action figures.
It's true.
Maybe
It's true.
get him
I'm sure there's no
some
copyright
underpants that
infringement.
say
There's nothing.
trash.
We got to find an IP that's just like that. Might be it. That nobody like. They're not going to chase us after. We
That is
just got to
true.
find some
Kind of
old
old.
$6 million man action figures that like. I don't know who the $6 million man company is. They're probably not going after people anymore.
I don't think they're chasing anything
Yeah,
anymore. I think
exactly. So just find something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we don't need as Carrie said, we definitely don't need a social media presence to sell. And you never should have one, is I think what he was
Yeah,
saying.
I would. Yeah, guys. If in fact, if you're on this podcast, I delete the app and close out because it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up just because I
No,
saw the
that I
comment.
did see
But
that comment, and I think I don't know if I backpedaled, but I just said, yeah, you don't need one. I think it's helpful.
yeah. Okay. So all right. I have another question. I decided to go viral today on TikTok a little bit, not mega viral, just a little viral.
Just baby
Okay.
viral.
Baby viral, which was like a 200,000 view video. Okay. And as I'm editing it, I'm like, you know what? A lot of people are going to be upset. Maybe I shouldn't post this because, well, even I thought I made a bit of a lowball offer. And so I wanted kind of your opinion. What do you do at a yard sale? Okay, so this is a scenario.
Hmm.
You find someone who has a bin, a small bin, maybe like a cube, right? Like a 12 by 12 cube,
Yeah,
right? Or a 10 by 10 cube full of video games.
12 by 12. Let's go 12 by 12.
12 by
It's
12.
easier to
Full of,
visualize.
full of video games. Okay, at the bottom is a PS1, which, those
Okay.
aren't worth much. No cords, no controller,
What are
right?
we talking about? Leapfrog video games? Or are we talking about GameCube? There's some
Well,
nuance here.
okay, I'm going to get into it. So you got a PS1 and then you've got a stack of N64 games
Okay.
and a stack of NES games and a few Game Boy games.
Hmm.
One of them being Pokemon, the N64 games being things like Pokemon Snap, Smash
Dang, bro.
Bros, Mario Kart. Okay, so a
All
decent little
right.
haul. NES
Yeah.
games include things like Zelda, a Texas Instruments game. So
Nice.
some cool stuff. And she says, "What do you think is fair on the price for all?" What's the number you give, Carrie?
Like $50 probably.
Okay. I said 40.
Yeah.
TikTok did not like that number. Let me just tell you.
I thought you were gonna say like 10 or something because I haven't checked that
No,
video. Or yeah, maybe you showed me that video
I
before you
didn't show you
posted it.
that one. No, I didn't show you that one.
But yeah, I think that was smart of you because you didn't like aggressively lowball, but you definitely went low. I think that's smart. It's when you're wait, you could. I don't know. I think in that case that was smart. That was smart on your part because you were thinking of. I don't know if you were thinking about a video at that time, but it was smart because you're going to get an interesting perspective whether you end up paying more or not. You're going to get people
Yeah.
watching your video.
Well, I wasn't thinking about the video. I was just thinking, ooh, I want some N64 games. I personally, that was like my favorite console. That one and the PS1 were my favorites, but like the N64
I love the 64
for some
as
reason,
well.
those games, GoldenEye and Smash Bros. And Mario Party, have like such a strong nostalgia for me versus
Hmm.
my PS1 games, which, yes, Final Fantasy VII is like in my heart forever.
Do you
And
ever play Road Rage, dude? That one was good on
yes,
PS1.
yes, and Fighting Force. I don't know if you ever played that one. That one was
Yeah,
yeah. Anyways,
garbage. Go ahead.
so I've been wanting to get a little N64 collection. And so when I'm looking at the N64 games, I'm like, all right, I'm keeping those. I'll sell the PS1 for like 20 to 30 bucks. And the NES games, most of the games I was looking at were worth like $15. So I figured I could walk away with like 140 bucks if I offered her 40. And I figured I'd give her room to counter, right? Maybe she comes back and says 60 and I'd probably still have said yes. And maybe
Yeah.
not. But yeah, I'm just kind of curious. Like, so obviously, and I knew this when I was editing it, all the comments, wow, you robbed her. Congrats. Way to show off for
Yep.
robbing some old lady, is what they're saying, which is very nice, calling her an old lady.
Didn't somebody say you because you sent me some of the comments, like somebody said you ripped her off and now you're ripping us off
Yes.
because of the I was like,
and,
dang, that's nice.
and so I don't know. It makes me happy that you said 50 bucks. Anyone who's listening to the podcast or watching the podcast on our YouTube channel, comment down below what you would have offered. Do you think 40 was ridiculous? Because
You can't
it's,
complain, like she can't complain if she put it in your ballpark.
well, exactly.
Sorry, I'm
And
knocking stuff out,
yeah,
but
you're just dropping your phone and stuff. But okay, so obviously, if she didn't like the $40 price, she could have said, no, that's too low. It's in her
exactly.
power. It's a free market. And she could say, no, I need 150. And I'd say, ooh, I
I think that's a really good point that you brought up right there. People oftentimes on YouTube, TikTok, and just thinking about negotiations as a whole don't realize that it's a two-way street. We're not making people accept our offers, nor are most of us upset if somebody counters us. Of course, we want to pay less.
Hmm?
But, I would always, I'm never mad at anybody who doesn't, even if somebody doesn't want to budge on a price. That's their prerogative. I could think they're wrong because, you're not going to get that at a garage sale, which is fairly obvious on certain things. You need to put that on eBay and they're not going to do it. But
Yeah, that's true.
I'm always for people, getting as much as they can out of what they have.
Yeah.
The problem is it's, very unlikely that you're going to get full price on N64 stuff. it's maybe a little more likely at a garage sale because there is so many collectors locally everywhere,
Yeah.
but still, it's not likely. And most everything at a garage sale, you're not getting anywhere near eBay prices. You have to give them away or throw them away.
Well, yeah, and that's exactly the thing. I mean, I think most of the people that are going to listen to a reseller podcast are going to side with us on this. My favorite comment on that TikTok video was like, "What the heck did you offer her 40 for? I would have offered her 10. She let you name the price."
Exactly. You can't win for losing, man.
Yeah.
You're always,
Yeah.
and you have to just, yeah, you have to just make a decision in those cases. And you kind of got to feel when somebody comes at me and says, what do you think's fair? I already know that it's going to probably be low
Yeah.
because they don't care that
Oh,
much.
exactly.
They would have, what you need to worry about is when they go, well, I just looked this up on eBay, this Mario Kart 64, and I saw it for $300. I'm like, that's a seal, that's in the box with, or I saw it sell for 13,000. No, that was a graded one, and it was like perfect grading, and that was 7 years ago. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm still looking forward to the day where I can like have the guts or the time really to be like, no, no, no. Let me show you how eBay solds work. let me just let me
Here's
just show you a sold versus
here
what you've printed here.
here's something I just thought of. You tell me as far as like for a YouTube video for a garage sale, if this would work. You guys don't agree on a price, do rock, paper, scissors. I could just see that. I could see the thumbnail. Like battle to the death or whatever. And then just go.
I
I
like
think I
it.
think that would go
I
everywhere.
need to start thinking more about YouTube thumbnails when I'm like going to a yard sale. Try to like plan them out. And I actually did it once this weekend because there was one yard sale in my neighborhood. And my wife called me and said she was going to walk down to it. And I was going to be passing by the house. I'm like, maybe I'll go too and I'll meet up with her at the yard sale and say, "Hey." And so so I'm like I'm almost there and I'm like, "You know what? When I see her, I should be like, "Oh, look at the hot babe at the yard sale." Right? There's your thumbnail. I found a hot
Yep.
babe at this yard sale. And like you started off with me sounding like a jerk saying, "Oh, look at that hot babe." Then you roll the credits and you
Yeah.
see it's my wife. Like that's like
Dude. That's
I
good.
totally
That's
did it
good. I
too.
like it.
So, you know,
You just gotta, yeah, you gotta like just put your GoPro. I don't know. I use like the whole thing, the chest mount or
yeah.
whatever. Just go up to people in the middle of the yard sale and just say something a little bit
Yeah.
crazy and just get that
Yep.
reaction.
I know,
Like,
yeah.
like I don't think you should have done that, or just be like a little aggressive for half a second, get that thumbnail and then go back to normal. Have them a little bit confused and bewildered, edit all the context out and then just have that
Wait,
moment.
so you only wear one chest mounted GoPro? You don't do the knee mounts?
Yeah, just one on my chest, and then I got the
You got the
shoulder
knee
ones. I got
mounts
double
too, right?
shoulders, and then I got the
Okay.
headlamp
Good, good.
slash.
Yeah.
It's not a
Head,
GoPro. It's like one of those one of the flip ones from like the late
head,
2000s.
shoulders,
Like
knees,
the
and toes. You have the toe ones?
yeah, dude, I do. Serious. I have a back one as well.
Can you imagine
I
just
have a little.
rolling
I have
up with
a.
like GoPros all over you?
I have a. That would but legit, dude. That would be hilarious video.
You'd need someone to
That would
record.
and
You'd
like
need Dawn to have her camera on, like recording you.
I do. We've talked about that. I definitely want a third person perspective on the garage
That'd
sale,
be
like
so
from
good. It seems like
somebody else.
so. I discovered someone this week, and you're gonna laugh at this. Everyone that's listening is gonna laugh at this.
Is it Jake Paul?
Even worse. I discovered this guy named
Okay.
Gary V, who I'd never heard of before.
Oh, are
I'm
you
100%
serious? No
serious. I'd
way.
never heard of this guy.
You are so full of
I
crap.
don't know Gary V until this week. I found Gary V on TikTok. Apparently, he's a really big deal, though.
Yeah.
And it seems like Gary V is like. It seems like the kind of name I've heard in passing, like, and I just kind of like nod, like, oh yeah, Gary V. But like, I never really like figured out who he was.
Never
Like, I've heard
clicked. Yeah.
people say,
That happened a few years for me with Gary Vee, and then it
okay,
clicked.
yeah,
I
I
hear
just
you.
like I never really looked it up or figured out who it was, and I guess he's kind of like us in a way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
He
was watching him
is.
on TikTok,
He's
and like people were like recording him at yard sales, so that's what made me think of him just randomly. Is that like he seems to be bringing someone to record him?
and he is actually, he's doing, because it's hilarious because he's doing he's not really a garage sale. He just
Okay.
loves to do it. So he's doing the videos and explaining how to do it with people. But he has that third person point of view that he has somebody filming. And I think it'd be awesome to have a videographer film and for TikTok. And I think it'd be fun. I don't know what it would cost. I mean, I would be willing to pay next to nothing.
I would be willing to do it for next to nothing. Come on down.
Dude, if we were in
Yeah.
the same area, we
Yeah.
could be doing
Totally.
that. Exactly. You could help me film my TikToks and you can help me film my YouTubes. And then, whatever happens with
Yeah.
your
No,
stuff,
we
whatever, it
just kill
doesn't
my
really matter
channel. We could change the name of my channel to
we
American
just let it
Arbitrage
go.
and just it's you,
There we
and
go, dude.
we look the same.
Exactly, man. You're a
Dude,
full time whatever you
I
do. You're full
watched the
time. You're fine.
worst guy on a live stream tonight. He was on with the Nashville Flipper.
Uh, yeah, dude.
His name was you.
I
His
couldn't
name was
stand that.
you.
It was a bad episode. Exactly. Ray's awesome, but the guest
Mhm.
was just
Yep.
terrible, just
I think he was
incoherent,
drunk.
like sloppy. Yeah, he was. He doesn't drink, but he was drunk. I get it. I know what you're saying. Like you're never quite sure. Yeah, no, that was pretty fun. I actually he got a hold of me a couple weeks ago when like the day we decided to do this, and I'm like, yeah, I got it. He usually does it later. I'm like, I've got to be done at a
Hmm.
certain hour because the boss man wants to do this at like a
So do
certain
you really
time.
not
You know?
drink?
Nah, man.
Water?
Growing up
Dr.
in
Pepper?
Utah, growing up
Nothing?
Mormon. Oh,
Okay.
Dr. Pepper, yeah. Like I'm not super religious anymore, but growing up that way, I never got into it. So it doesn't make sense as like a 30-year-old to start to get in. Oh, Diet Dr. Pepper. I've been rocking my Propel and
No, I
Diet
just think it's
Cherry
funny because
Coke.
I also don't drink.
So
I've drank like one alcoholic beverage in my entire life, so it's just rare to find another non-drinker.
yeah, dude. I mean, I do occasionally. I'll drink just to make
Oh
myself
yeah,
feel cool. And by drink, I
yeah.
mean like a
That's
sip.
like
I've never
crack
been
with
drunk
me.
in my
Yeah.
life, so yeah, it's just like just a little dab on the inside of your mouth, and
No,
you're
yeah, no.
good. You know.
It's just rare to find another non-drinker.
That shows you how much I
I don't
know
know.
about
Does
crack.
crack
Like just a
is
dab
crack
with your.
given to people in dabs? I don't even know. Is
I
it like
don't
a
even know,
pill?
man.
I
I
think
don't
it's a
know what's
pill. I don't
happening.
know.
I
All right,
don't
so this has been
know.
our episode of the Cracked
Who knows?
Podcast.
Seriously, man. I'm too OCD to
How have
get
your
into
sales been
drugs,
today?
man. Today, that's a good question. Do I have
I
this
sold
on?
two
I don't even
items.
know. I'm probably about the same. Actually, no, today I sold probably about 5 or 6. I've been focusing more on
Okay.
eBay this week because the whatnot kind of took over my life and still kind of is
All right,
for the
yeah,
last
no,
couple of
hold on.
weeks.
We need to do like a
But
sympathy pitch of your whatnot because Thursday was rough, bro. I went to Carrie's whatnot on
yeah,
Thursday night, guys, and like no one showed up. Well, no spender showed up, but me. I got a whole bunch of crap coming that I don't even want.
I know, dude. You helped a lot. And that, to be honest, like I've been in the auction world for a long time locally, and that's just how it is every time you start to go, oh, you're turning the
Yeah,
corner. I'm turning the corner. This is about to get big. This is about, because the
it
Thursday
was.
before was really good, and then you constantly
Yeah.
get humbled. But it was okay. I mean, to be honest, I felt like if I had better stuff, I probably would have done a little bit better. I had,
The Star Trek stuff was way more fun. Like, definitely, like, there's some hype around
yeah,
stuff like that, even though people know it's not worth much and they just take it out of the packaging and ruin all its value the day they get it. It was fun to bid on it, and like, there definitely wasn't as much fun stuff on Thursday, so that could have been part of it.
it just kind of is what it is. Like, I've got a couple decent things for tomorrow, and then I'll, just keep going
Yeah,
with what I have around here, and we'll see how it goes. But it has taken over, my world for the last couple
yeah.
weeks, and eBay's taken a seat on the back burner. But this week's been better. I mean, I posted a bunch of stuff. I had like a night where I could post, so I did a lot, and a lot of it
Okay.
sold like right away, which is kind of insane. I don't know if it's because of social media
Yeah.
or just because eBay realized I was still
Well, let's just
alive.
say
I
I
don't
got a
know.
bunch of really great deals from Carrie, so check out his whatnot if you want some steals.
You did, man. You did, man. I'm looking forward to seeing
Yeah,
them on
I'll
the
probably make money on a
Flipper
couple of them.
channel
Like some of
and
them I
see.
didn't like. I'll just resell. Like I don't know, maybe the Jemmy characters might help me make back some of my money because I
Oh yeah,
underpaid for those for sure.
yeah. There. It's a good gig right now, though. I need to figure out how to get the good stuff consistently at a good price, and that's the trick
Well,
to
that stuff
reselling
like I
always.
never
So
find that at yard sales. Like I'll find loose action figures and stuff, but like sealed stuff I have to go to the flea market for.
like I got yesterday, I got like a UFC sealed
Oh,
Conor McGregor like McFarlane 2000 limited edition at the
dude,
DI for like $7. So that's going in. I might make 7. I don't know. I also don't have a lot of fear with that. I mean, I understand I could lose money, I could make money. Um, and what I'm more concerned with right now with my auction
yeah.
site is to build a following. I'll make money when I have the
Yeah,
following and the
so if
right
you
items.
download the
It's that
Whatnot
simple.
app, look up Carrie American Arbitrage, follow him, and turn on like notifications. It'll tell you when he's going live. And like I said, you can win stuff for like a buck.
Yeah, come check it out. I think we had E. Rotten
Yeah, I
said
saw
he
one
came
guy
from.
had come
I
from
don't
our
know his full
podcast.
name. Eric.
Yeah. Did he?
He bought a
Okay.
lot too. He
Yeah,
we
yeah. We
got
got
some
some
good
steals
deals
on
too.
Thursday. I got some crazy deals. But
It's
I
all
know your
right.
buy costs.
It's
Like
all
I don't
right,
feel
man.
too
It's
guilty. Like I did bid myself up once because I felt bad that it was going to end at a buck. So I bid myself up to $5. I was like, I can't take this from him for a buck. So I did up my bid a little. But
no,
in general, I know your buy cost is like next
I'm
to nothing, and you probably had this stuff in your trash floor for weeks, months, years. I don't even know. Probably mites crawling all over it.
so, no, dude, I'm so OCD about that kind of stuff. It's not like
Mm,
that kind of a mess. I'm pretty clean when it comes to that kind of stuff, but it is like in a box, in a tote. That's just a mess. And then when it comes to a mess on
yeah.
the floor, it's usually just paper,
Oh
like because
yeah,
I'm all
these
constantly
dude.
shipping,
Let me see.
and
Well, I
there's
can't
just
really show.
paper
So it's
everywhere.
a audio podcast. So I'll just explain what I'm holding up.
But check
I'm
out my
holding up
floor
a little silver thing that comes
visually.
off the sticky part of a poly mailer
Exactly.
all over
That's
my
what I'm
floor.
talking about. The stuff, the byproducts. And with me, it's always like, I've got to, how long have I procrastinated this
Yep.
shipment? I have to do it right now. And it's a whirling dervish of, Dawn's been
A
helping
whirling
me though,
dervish.
like be a lot more, lot, yeah, because I'm like, okay, I'm going to be late. Like, cause I have
Yeah.
sometimes 4 days handling on my stuff. Cause I just go on
Yeah.
vacation and I come back and I don't change it. So I'm like, okay, I'll just take my time to ship stuff out. But I'm not the best when it comes to shipping advice, guys. Don't listen to me
No,
or
definitely not
really
me.
Dave for
Dude,
that matter.
I got negative
Honestly.
feedback this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did? Is it because
Well, okay.
what did
So
you do?
I had this giant dead cockroach, and I was like, let me put him in this package and see what happens. No, not really. No, okay, so I
It
sold
happens, man.
a drain tornado. It's like a little thing I guess people use to clean a drain. Okay, and not like a toilet drain, but like a sink drain. And it was
Yeah,
like
I know
new
what you
old
mean.
stock, right? It was like, you get those package, you can tell it's been in someone's garage for like 8 months or 8 years even because it's covered in dust, like caked in dust. But it's like new old stock. And I paid like a
Exactly.
quarter for it. And I listed it on eBay. Actually, my wife listed on eBay as brand new. In the pictures, you can see some dust on it. It says new old stock, package is worn, all that. The guy orders it and doesn't say a word. This was 2 months ago. He paid $7.99. That's like the worst. No, I paid for ship,
Free
or he paid
shipping?
for shipping. So he ended up paying like $12 at the end of
Good,
the
good.
day. And today, or actually yesterday, I noticed, hey, negative feedback. And I look at it, and it just says arrived in used condition, very dirty, not satisfied, something like that. I mean, you can look at my eBay. It says something along those lines. He didn't like it. Is the moral of the story. And
Yeah.
yeah, so that's just negative feedback on my account. And I messaged him, and I hate to do it, dude. I really do. Like just for like the pride of it. Like I don't want to message him and try to like beg for better feedback or beg for a revision or give him a refund or anything like that because like he should have messaged me. If he had just messaged me the day he got it, I would have just said, "Hey,
Yeah.
here's a prepaid label. Send it back. I'll give you a refund." But he didn't say a word. He waits 2 months and he gives me negative feedback. What would you do, Carrie?
Well, I think the truth is he doesn't want a refund. He wants to complain. He wants that. I
Yeah.
don't think he cares about a re. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he would probably have that sitting around and then he's like been meaning to passive aggressively passing by it for like a month and a half and he's like, "You know what?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to get him this time." You know what I mean? So what I would do is I would just my business philosophy is this: every negative is an opportunity to have like a positive experience or a positive opinion of like put yourself out there
Yeah.
positively so you can reply to negative reviews on eBay. So I would just reply and say, it was new old
Yeah.
stock, it
It
was
was
dusty
dusty
as
as
described,
described.
and
Yeah.
I would just leave
Well,
it at that.
that's
That's what I would do. You can look at my feedback. I mean, I think I just went under 99% for the first time for whatever because I keep getting these really ticky tack neutrals and like a couple
yeah.
random negatives lately. I don't know. I,
Well,
I,
I
I don't
saw
know.
on your
Maybe I
negatives
got
a
to
lot
fix some
about
stuff,
like
but we'll
sticky
figure it out.
packages, frozen soda bombs. I don't even know what that means. Like,
Yeah, frozen sodas. Yeah, yeah, just
no.
wrappers
So
like
I mean,
Mars candy
listen,
bar
I
wrappers. But I mean, but they don't
that's true.
realize that
That's true.
insulates the item. So
I
I
already
do
did
like to tape
something
it
that
up
kind of
around
grosses
that.
me out to try to deal with this feedback. I sent him a refund for his $12. I
Dude,
know. I shouldn't have done it, but
dude.
I was just like, I don't know. There's some okay. So let me explain this way. if you guys are just listening to the podcast and don't know that we both have YouTube channels, surprise, we do. And I get a lot of flack for being me because I'm a little bit sloppy, I'm a
Understandable.
little bit bad attention to detail, things like that. And the one thing I can always say as like a haha is the I don't have any negative feedback. And I have one negative feedback, but it's from like
Now
a
you
year,
can't.
like 11 months ago now. And so whenever people give me a hard time, I say, listen, I haven't gotten any negative feedback in the last 10 months. You know, there's some power in that. And now I have to say, I haven't gotten any negative feedback in 1 week.
Yeah.
It loses all its power.
Just say that, man. It's just like you got to change that little thing on the wall.
Since
0 days,
last
3 days
feedback.
since your last
So
negative
it's like,
feedback. The thing is
no,
with
you're
me,
fine.
dude,
No,
like,
it's
sorry,
fine.
I interrupted you,
The
as I
thing, the
always
thing
do.
is,
The, the thing
no,
is
go
with
ahead.
me
The thing,
is it's the thing. That is the thing. I feel like feedback's a relic of eBay's past and it's overrated. That's my hot take about feedback. It isn't a completely overrated, but I think the worrying about one negative or even a
yeah,
couple, I think is people don't care. You know, unless they go in and they see a ton of negatives, or the negatives are very, even the positives are saying like, oh, things are right. You know, box was messed up. I almost swore there. Box was messed up. You know, and
yeah,
even on the positives and the negatives, that might matter. But I think most people, especially new resellers, I mean, it matters at the very start, but I think most people over worry about it, to be honest with you. Just ship things safely, quickly,
yeah,
in a plastic bag if you have to. Wrap the toys
yeah.
individually in plastic bags. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah, I
As long as it
generally just
arrives
use
safely,
like a
nobody's going to
Walmart
complain.
bag, tie it really tight, and then I just put the label on that.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
okay, so and you're
Exactly, dude.
right because quantity is like such a big part of this, right? If you're selling one item a month and you get a negative feedback, it's devastating. You know, where I'm selling
That's a
hundreds of
great point.
items,
Yeah.
like 400 items a month, it doesn't really make a difference. It went from
Yeah, I'm doing like two to
99.9%
300.
positive
So,
to 99.8% positive. And I know if I was the buyer and I saw 99.8, I wouldn't even click through to read the feedback. I would just say, yeah, he's good.
here's my like beyond that. I don't think people even look at the feedback hardly anymore. I think that younger people just look at
Yeah.
the price, they look at the pictures, and they buy it. Like if they did notice your feedback in the corner there on the app or wherever it is, I think they would
Yeah.
only click on it if it was like aggressively low. Like, why is this
Yeah. And
42.6?
so
You know what I mean?
I should not have refunded that guy. And then I should not send him a revision request.
No.
I'm doing it because of this weird sense of pride I have. And that's the
You
only reason I'm
can, but
doing it. It was stupid. It encourages bad eBay behavior, right? It does. It encourages them to leave negative feedback because hey, look, I
yeah.
randomly got a refund. So that was like a moment of weakness. I apologize to the whole community.
Yep.
Please forgive me.
Yeah, as well you should.
Mm,
Yeah, guys,
yeah.
please forgive Dave.
Yeah,
He doesn't know
resubscribe to
what's,
the
you know, he just
podcast. I
messed
know you
up. It
just unsubscribed.
happens. If you would, yeah,
Yes.
quickly
This
unsubscribe
podcast,
and
Gary, is now on
resubscribe.
Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, et cetera, et cetera. Hey, I have a question about your podcast because
Nice.
every single episode I have to listen to the same stupid pitch for Anchor. Is that like a sponsored bit or are you just trying to annoy me?
Yeah, no, that I've made like $30 so far. Okay, yeah. So I don't know how
Yeah,
you're pushing out the
I'm using
podcast. Are
Anchor.
you using Anchor or are you doing it individually? Anchor should have a promote button there, and then typically they only offer like themselves at first. And they'll pay you like $15 per
Okay, so did they
thousand
give
views
you
or
a
something.
link?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. It's just yeah, I think it's just when they listen to it through Anchor, I guess would be the technical part.
Oh,
So I
interesting.
don't know. We just did it. So I don't know if it's
Yeah.
really that important at this point. I think the real way to do ads is like talk to people ourselves. Like if I went and talked to Whatnot or
Yeah.
something, and then we just put it in, you know, the Whatnot minute where we just, you know, just talk about how great something is or whatever. You know what I mean?
What I was trying to figure out when you did your little Anchor pitch,
Mm-hmm.
it sounded like you were using a good microphone. But then when you went to the podcast, it sounded like you and Don were talking into a potato. What was the difference?
That was it. Exactly. Good. I
Okay.
had a actually had a mic at that point and it broke later on.
What? So you had said you might buy a good mic.
Yes.
What has gone down with that? What's the update?
Look at it.
That's it.
I'm just kidding. I mean,
That's the good one.
I am a reseller. I
He
am.
held it, so what he did is he showed us his headphones that he's
Yeah,
wearing.
sorry. No, I'm just cheap. I need to do it. Don just told me before the podcast, go buy the mic. I just,
Yeah,
I don't know why I'm.
I've been texting her privately about your mic quality.
See, I don't even notice it that much, to be honest. But yeah, everybody. I mean, you're very much an audiophile, though. You're into that kind of stuff. So, um,
Yeah, we had some comments on the video. You're right. A lot of people don't care. There's just some nerds like me that are
no,
like,
I think you're correct. I need to get. I think I'll have one for the next. I mean, I don't. I feel like I know myself, so I hope I'll have one for the next show.
So the next episode will be next Sunday that we record, which is Halloween. I should be fine to do it. Are you
Yeah, I
still
was
fine
going to
to do it?
ask you the same if we were
Okay.
going to have a
Well,
spooky
we'll
All
go trick
Hallows
or
Eve one.
treating. No, we'll go trick or treating and we'll
We
do all that.
will.
But my kids
Thank
are in
you.
bed by 10. Yeah. If you want, like, we can stop at your house. Are you giving out candy?
Never, dude. We turn the lights out. Just
No. Okay.
people.
So I sell it, right? I'm not going to be giving it out for free. I'm a reseller, so I'll
Exactly.
I'll buy it and I'll sell it, for about a quarter a piece.
Are you
Like
real?
it's
Are
a
you
little bit.
buying it or are you stealing it? There's a difference.
Well, I'm stealing it. I'm stealing
It's
it.
one of those kind of thefts where you pay the person up front for what you're stealing, and then
Yeah, yeah. So I did. I had a
yeah,
really
we will give out
me and
candy.
my
By the way, that was a joke. Yes, if somebody we don't
me
get
and
people though anymore.
okay. Why not? This just because you're so scary. So like that house is too scary.
No,
We don't want
I
to
don't
go.
know. It's just we're just yeah, just our neighborhood doesn't get a lot. I don't know why.
Scary reseller man bad is what the children say. I believe. So Carrie, I have a quick question. I know a lot of resellers aren't going to care, but did you have a really crappy TikTok week as far as views go?
Not
Because I did.
particularly. Not
It
particularly.
was very bad.
It was average, I'd say for me. I had a couple ones that went for a couple 100,000, but you just said you had one that's at like a couple 100,000, right? I think you might have paused again, dude. We're gonna edit this part, let's edit this part. Okay, you're back.
Okay, go ahead. TikTok. How was your week?
It
That's
was
weird that it does that, but I'll edit it out. It's
yeah, you
fine.
can edit it out. It'll look like we
Yeah,
just
it'll be
totally
fine.
natural. And
Yeah.
we're back.
Yeah.
Let me see. It was a pretty average week for me. I had a couple that went over 200,000. You said your one today is doing really good though, right?
Finally, I Friday through Saturday, man, it was just dud after dud. Even like I did this cassette one that I thought was like fire, and it did 10,000,
Yeah,
which is
you're gonna realize that with TikTok. It's kind of like the auction. You kind of have an idea what'll work, but it doesn't always work. I did
yeah,
two of them or three of them the other day, and one was a VHS one. I've been wanting to do a sealed VHS one, and I finally
yeah.
found something worth showing. And I'm like, that's going to be the one. And it started out really hot, and then it just died. So I
That's
don't
so weird.
know. Like, I mean, like this, I felt like this, like, I like to think of it this way with the videos. Like, this has a million view potential, whether I
Yeah.
get it or not. And then sometimes you're just fighting the algorithm. Sometimes I'm like, this
Yep.
video is so good, it muscled, like it just pushed through to
Yeah.
get the views, but
Yeah.
like it didn't get what it could have got if the algorithm was like, oh, we
Was
like you
being
today.
friendly. Yeah.
Please partake, you know?
I've had that. Like I'll release ones that I think are trash and they do really well, and then I'll release one that I'm like, this is so good,
my
and it just
best
doesn't.
my
Yeah.
best video by double the like 13 million video was a throwaway video about a mug that I
Dude, I
didn't
have
even want
such
to
an
do.
idea about your mug video, by the way. I'm totally gonna stitch or duet that. I think stitch it. I am definitely going to a yard sale and buying a bunch of mugs that suck. And then I'm gonna stitch your video of saying don't buy it if it's got this crazing, and then I'm gonna be like, now you tell me, and I'll show all the cups. Like
Just
this is
drop them
my
all and they all break.
anyways, I'm
That's
totally
nice. Yeah,
gonna
that's not a
ride your
bad idea.
coattails with that one.
Do
Yeah.
it, man. I'm not sure why that one went viral. I don't get it. The other two that are pinned at the top, the one was like good lighting. It was a good clear day. I picked up a dinosaur telephone. It's just subject matter. It was interesting looking. And the other one I knew was going to do well. That's like my second biggest one now. The one where she would like kind of took. I'm like, thank you. You know, you just made me some money, literally.
Yes.
By and you know, and it wasn't as the edit. I don't. It wasn't a bad edit. I didn't edit in a certain way, but the angle that my GoPro was at, you kind of it looked like she snatched it out of my hand. She didn't really. She more like gingerly took it out of my hand, but it did look like she was pissed.
Looked aggressive. Yeah.
And she was a little passive aggressive, but
Yeah.
oh man, I like I've talked to you before. I want passive aggressive people. I love it. Thank you. Like I want people to be like, "What are you putting this on the YouTube or whatever the
Are
heck
you
they say?" I'm like,
recording me right
"Are you
now?
that doesn't happen. People don't care.
No,
They
they
just
don't
like
care.
they're just cool. Most people are cool.
Yeah, Carrie had to talk me off a ledge this week because I was like having such bad views that I made this insane edit of a yard sale for TikTok where like I just turned myself into the total horrible bad guy.
I
Like
had even Dawn come on and talk to you about
yeah,
it.
I totally took the whole thing out of context and made it look like I was this big jerk who like was intentionally lowballing a desperate family, which wasn't the case. They were quite a wealthy family actually.
Yeah,
but
but
but I
you
just made it look really bad and I was like I sent it to Carrie and he's like, "No, you got to take that down." He's like, "You're going to get killed for that. Just take it down."
like really killed. Like you were gonna like your next 20 videos were gonna just be like,
Yeah.
you could have been one of those people that are duetting, like somebody big could have duetted and like, look at these jerks. Like
Yeah. It would have
they
got a
they
million views though.
they would have, yeah, no, 100% would have been a
Yeah.
viral video
It was
for.
viral in the making. It sadly
You
I
want
yeah.
you want a little spice, but you don't want to just like pour the whole bucket on them. You know
Pour
what
the
I
whole
mean?
thing of hot sauce on there.
Yeah, exactly. You just want a little bit of picante. You know?
Yeah, I mean, so I went to a yard sale and they had a rock band dongle, like Guitar Hero dongle, for a
Yeah.
PS3. They sell for like $40, and I hold it up and I ask the guy how much is this, and he's like, "Oh, you can just take it. It's free. You can have it." I was like, "Okay, cool."
Nice.
and
That's awesome.
okay, but like, and so of course I sold it the next day for $40, and I want to make a TikTok of this, but I'm gonna get slayed because I didn't give him money for the thing he said I could have for free.
I love TikTok, and YouTube is the perfect platform for people to judge what you should have done, but would never do what they're asking you to do. I don't know how to exactly
Yeah,
put that into words,
yeah.
but nobody would have been like, maybe somebody might realize that maybe give them $5 because I don't know, karma or whatever, but I don't think it's necessary. I don't think that's logical. I don't think that's how reselling needs to be.
Yeah.
You know, if they give you something for free, take it. I mean,
Well, but
if it's good karma for you, it'll be good karma for them, I
they're
think.
just not resellers, right? Like
Exactly. They don't care.
even American Pickers now is unwatchable because they're constantly paying more than the person asks, more than the thing is worth, and it gives people the wrong idea of how reselling works.
We pause, we pause, we pause, we pause. We're waiting for. Hey, what's up? You back?
Why is it doing that?
I don't
It's
know.
annoying. Yeah, no.
It's okay.
All I was saying was like even in American Pickers, like they go and they pay more than the items valued at, even more than it sells for on eBay, and it gives people the wrong idea of like what resellers should do. Like,
It should never. I feel like when that happens, most of the time it's pandering.
yeah,
Like you're doing footage, right?
yeah,
And you're pandering to your audience, which I'm not saying is necessarily bad or good, but it's pandering. And I'm sure at some point I might do it, but you know what I mean?
funny. So I
It's
did it.
just not.
I did it once. I've overpaid once, and I did a TikTok about it, and people people yelled at me for overpaying.
For the opposite reason, for not being a smart reseller and overpaying. And the thing
Just
is,
getting
if it comes
unusable.
from a genuine place, do it. But I feel like most of the time, like on American Pickers, I don't, maybe it's coming from a genuine place because they're making so much money on the episodes. They're just be like, and they know the production company's paying for all this stuff.
Yeah,
They're like, let's just hook this guy up with extra money.
that is
Honestly,
true.
it doesn't make for good television, though, I think.
No, it's not that entertaining anymore. The first couple seasons of that show were great, but now it's like barely watchable for an actual reseller. American Pickers is not even watchable anymore.
Well, YouTube and TikTok, that's the place for actual resellers to go to get the content, because I mean, I've literally shown stuff that I've sold for like $6-7 plus shipping, or like real stuff that's not exciting, not even that interesting, but something you can
I
find
Yeah,
consistently. Stealing or whatever. No, I'm just kidding. We're joking about how everybody says we steal when we find good deals. We're not
yeah. We
actually
don't
stealing.
actually
That's the
steal stuff, guys. People just say it all
that's
the
the
time.
joke.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So here's a question I have for you, which maybe you don't want to tell me. When you do a night of auctions on whatnot, what is like your best single night pull revenue on a single auction night?
Like 790.
$790.
This last one was like maybe the second most items I ever sold, and was like hundreds of dollars less. I think I did 90 items at $400. So we're talking like averaging about $4 each, dude. It was pretty
But
brutal, but it, like, for the
but
most part, it was backlog stuff.
and a lot of it was going to the same people in one
Exactly.
package.
It wasn't
Yeah,
particularly difficult to ship it out. And I am die in the wool about building an audience wherever you are. So
yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm considering it a marketing cost, and also I have I'm working with Whatnot on a lot of stuff too that makes it a lot easier for me. So
Okay. Yeah, and I really should probably do that. I just don't have time. But
I know you want to, dude, and I also have a feeling you probably will be doing it. Is that proper English?
no,
At some
that's
point,
perfect. I'm an English teacher, so that's good. Yeah.
sweet, yeah. I figure I just have a feeling you're going to eventually convince yourself, in
Yeah.
spite of the fact that you have 700 to 800 things going on, to do that as well.
It's bad. You know, it's funny. I was looking at like my death pile, and this is just like a piece of my death pile over here. The rest is in a storage unit. And like it's gotten bad when you look in your death pile and you see like 5 GameCube games, each worth $60 that aren't listed, and you're just like, okay, now we've got a cat in the picture.
Well, that makes up for when I dropped my headphone right there.
Yeah, so this is a cat, and you can't see it because you're listening to a podcast, but she likes to make fun of
Imagine
me.
imagine what a cat looks like, and then just make it worse because that cat
It's
is a
ugly. Yeah.
cat.
This cat has a mustache, which is weird. I'm not showing the cat anymore, guys. You're not missing anything.
Don't worry, guys.
Yeah. Um, she does that to me in work meetings. I'll be in work meetings and she'll just walk across like a, huge corporate business meeting.
Does she knock over your action figures in front of your computer?
Yeah, sometimes I do play. I've been playing with action figures in work meetings, guys. It's pretty bad. I do
That's
actually
awesome, dude.
make a lot of like the buttoned up businessmen laugh when I have like Batman walk across my camera at the bottom. Like I won't have him walk across up high. I'll have him walk across like the very bottom and like just do like a look. And the, like very formal business guy will like shut off his camera and message me on Slack and be like, "Bro, you're killing me." Because
I love
really,
it though.
at the end of the
That's smart.
day, all these like all these buttoned up businessmen and all that, they're all just kids at heart. Like
Exactly.
no one's really like all serious all the time.
How much can you talk about a TPS report
Yeah, well, a lot,
before you get it?
unfortunately. Yeah, I just like I think people like always look at that sort of like business stuff as like, oh, you have to be formal all the time, and you just don't, really don't. I mean, look at Kerry. He's here making a living in a hoodie and no pants.
Nope.
Oh, actually, I don't
Just
know
a
if he
hoodie.
has pants.
No, I actually, believe it or not, have dress pants on.
Oh, fancy.
I'm not even joking.
Well, yeah, well, thank you for dressing up for the podcast. I appreciate that you're taking it seriously.
I mean, they are Walmart,
Okay.
George. Like they're not like Gucci. My Gucci is not for podcasts.
All right, so here's something. We want people to go onto iTunes, right? Or the iTunes Apple Podcasts and give a 5-star
Yes.
review of this podcast. And whoever says the funniest thing in their review that's also positive is
Yeah. Please
going
don't
to
be negative.
get
We're too new.
a prize. Okay? The prize is going to be the Austin Powers action figure.
Look at that.
I will mail him to
And no, wait. I better because I'll forget.
you.
I was gonna give away like this half used
Uh-huh.
painter's tape that I use to secure my cards when I ship them, but
So we will painter's tape. So
too rich.
we'll read the funniest one in next week's show. You got to remind me
Dude,
of
that
this,
would be
Gary.
awesome. That's a really good
Yeah.
idea.
And then the funniest one, when you hear that yours is read, then you go over to the YouTube channel and comment and say, "Hey, that was me," and then we can connect, and I can send you your killer Austin Powers action figure.
Once again, if you're on the podcast, he has no figure. Or if you're on the podcast, if you're listening to the podcast, he does not actually have a figure
Listen,
in front of
this
him.
gives them motivation to come watch the video and see it. It's right here.
It is, dude. He's wearing his purple suit. He's got the glasses.
Yeah, he's looking good, and he could be yours
Looks
if
a
you
lot
write the funniest and most
like Mike
positive
Myers.
review on iTunes. And there's a good chance only one person does this, so that one person's
Yeah.
probably gonna win.
There is going to be good odds in your favor,
Yeah,
honestly.
Trash to
That's a good
Cash
point.
podcast. There is a Trash to Cash YouTube channel already. Did you know that?
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
No. Dang it.
But it's
What's it
not-
about?
It's about
Trash
no, it's about
to
this.
Cash?
It's about this. It's
Oh,
about
wow.
reselling. But he hasn't been active in 10 months, and it's not called Trash to Cash podcast. It's like Trash to Cash, all like one thing.
Is it like the number 2?
Something like that. It's different enough that I think it's okay, and I mean it's okay anyways because 8,000 people have the same YouTube channel name. So, and this is really a podcast, not a full-on YouTube channel. So, if you're listening,
Exactly. How many NC flippers are there out there? I know I have NC flipper 1, 2, and 3 on
Yeah.
YouTube already locked down.
dude, I told you my brother made like a TikTok account. He's the CT sprinkler man. He does like pipe fitting,
Yes.
fire safety sprinkler.
If you guys are looking for for hot sprinkler videos. Like I'm just talking about like the cutting edge, like how to. I don't know a lot about sprinklers, and when I'm done with the videos, I still don't.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of feel the same way. But since it's my brother, I'm like, oh, I'm watching it all the way through. I'm hitting the heart and I'm commenting every time.
Honestly, his videos were good.
Yeah.
I'm joking,
Well,
but I don't know what's going
no,
on.
yeah. Generally, you don't. But there's a niche for that. There's a niche for everything, right? There's always a
It's
niche.
true.
And now I've forgotten my point. I had a point and I've lost it.
It's highly doubtful you had a point,
I
but yeah,
think I had a
we'll go along with it.
Dang it. Okay, best sale of the week. What was it? Go.
Ooh, the best sale of the week. Goodness, do you? How about you go first? While I
Yeah,
try to think.
E.L. Smith slag glass vase, a vase.
Ooh,
It was like this. Well, I can't. Anyways, it was like 18 inches tall. It was bittersweet orange. Bittersweet orange is always the
ooh.
color to look out for those vases. And it sold for $84. Paid $1 at a yard sale.
I sold one of those 300 disc CD changers. I've kind of stopped doing electronics because I don't like them, but that one's been up there for like 4 or 5 months. I believe I sold it in the $80 range. I don't even remember offhand. 80 to 90, something like that. You did 82 was
84,
yours?
84.
84, mine was 85.
I don't buy it.
Mine was
I don't
85.
buy it.
84.50 if you want to be technical, but
Okay,
I do.
we should end the podcast soon, but I want to know what's your food routine on a Saturday morning when you're yard sailing.
Um, well, of course we meal plan. We're no, I'm terrible with planning anything. We just wait and eat after we go
So you
garage
don't eat
selling. So
any
we'll go hit
breakfast
up.
at all.
I'm not a big breakfast person. Don sometimes eats breakfast, and we usually eat around 11 or noon,
Yeah.
and usually somewhere. I've been going to Popeyes a lot
Oh yeah.
lately and getting the blackened chicken because it's actually somewhat
Remember the
healthy.
Little Nicky movie? Popeye's
Yes,
chicken is. There's like a whole bunch of Popeye's chicken stuff in that.
I didn't. To be fair, I didn't. I don't remember watching
You
much
should
of it, and
yeah.
I'm terrible with
Just look
movie
up Little
quotes. Like that's
Nicky's
always been
Popeye
my thing.
chicken on YouTube, and you'll have a good time. Um,
Right
yeah.
on.
So I'm a big breakfast guy, and so I also heard Dawn say that you're not a morning person. So like, do you even what time do you get up for yard sales? Like noon?
No, no, that's actually the days I do
How
get up.
early
Like
can you get up?
we're at like
Okay.
7 or so.
Okay.
And then like on swap meet day when they actually open at 7, we're there like we used to be there at like 5:30. Now we're there at like 6:30 because it's just not as many people are doing it as they used to. So there's not quite the need to like get there early so you can be at the front of the line going in. If
Yeah.
that makes sense. Back in the day they would have a line 30, 40, 50 cars long, and now it's not quite
Because
like
I
that.
think I decided this weekend that I might be done being an early birder. I really think I
Really?
might be. Like, listen, I'm an early bird by nature, but like the showing up early, it just hasn't worked out like all summer for me. Like all summer, I show up like 30 to 40 minutes early and they're not set up at all. And I'm just sitting there in my car for 30 to 40 minutes. And it's just kind of
Why don't you just show up
yeah,
on
so if I
time?
just show
That's
up
still
at
early.
7 instead of showing up at 6:30, then I don't waste 30 minutes of my life. But every now and then it pays off. You get there, they let you in at 6:45 and you get all the best stuff, which is why it makes it hard not to try when you're already getting up
Well,
at
look,
5 because
just
you're a psychopath.
have some TikToks edited that you can just work on, doing the hashtags and stuff, and then put them out. Well, 6 in the morning is not
No.
the best time for a
No.
TikTok, um,
But I get like I don't like it. I don't like sitting in my car for 30 minutes waiting for them to be ready. I feel uncomfortable. Like they can see me sitting there with my headlights on, like I'm lurking. Like it's
yeah,
the whole
that is a
thing.
little
And
weird.
like and then even being the early bird, like you feel weird. Like I just think
You kind of got to go with who you are. You're not
I
that
might not be
person.
that person.
I remember when I started reselling, I would go to the swap meet and sell, and my mom would go with me sometimes and help because I was living at home at the time, and I would give stuff away to kids, like just toys because I didn't care. And then my mom was like, "You can't give stuff away all the time. You have to sell that stuff. It wasn't stuff that was super valuable." And then I kind of just went back to that later on. I'm like, not necessarily always giving stuff, but like I just realized I was kind of that was who I was. That's what I
Well, and
like to do. So if you're not comfortable, don't do it.
yeah,
Is
and
what
I
I'm saying.
never did it before I had a YouTube channel. Really, it's like that desire to find like this amazing item first for YouTube is what made me turn into an early bird. But before that, I would roll in at 7:30 to a 7 o'clock sale. And like,
Dude, my best pick of the summer was probably that video game haul, and I rolled in at
yeah,
like 10:30. I don't know how it was all available, It was, $10. He wanted $10 a video game, so that could be off-putting unless you're a reseller, maybe, and maybe there was nobody getting the deal they
Yeah.
wanted. But I don't know. I think I'm not. I'm just very, very go with the flow with that kind of stuff. But with the swap meet, I am a little bit more picky about
Yeah.
being there on time, because there is something to be said with 30 or 40 people out there, and you're the first ones there. I've gotten a ton of deals at a swap meet flea
Yeah. I
market
think
that way.
I think I'm just gonna go back to showing up like at start time at 7 o'clock when most of these things start, because also like it's now dark at 6:30, so even if they let me in, I can't get any real good usable footage, so I might as well just wait until
Exactly.
7 when it starts, and then you're like don't start off on the wrong foot with the seller.
Exactly. It's already tough enough when you walk in, you go, "Do you know who I
Yeah.
am?" You start that whole spiel that you're obviously
Yeah.
not putting on camera. But, and you show them a little
Sign
bit
this
of what you're doing,
waiver,
who
like
you
there's
are.
all that
Tell them exactly, here's a little bit of my ad revenue, what I'm pulling in and what
stuff.
I'm able to give to you on the side if you're able to make
Yeah.
this video work.
If you punch me a few times, yeah. Anyways, like, yeah, okay,
Exactly.
so you're not an early birder. Okay, so my food routine, I struggle with it because, okay, this is really hipster of me to say, but I kind of sort of have issues with gluten. I'm sorry.
Oh man. Could we just do a banner
Hipster
at the
too
top
fit.
here? I kind of have right when you say I kind of have an issue with gluten. Maybe just
Yeah,
block
yeah.
my face out and
Maybe
just
block my face out, like make it like all in the shadows. My name's Dave, and I have an issue with gluten.
exactly, exactly. Have like the voice changer on. So kind of have an issue
As
with
someone who
gluten.
made fun of people with issues with gluten for 10 years, it's really hard for me to admit that I have issues with gluten.
Is it bad that I'm not 100% sure
It's
I know
wheat,
what
basically
gluten even
wheat. Is
is?
actually I don't have an issue with gluten. I have an issue with wheat. If I eat a lot of wheat, I get like a lot of really bad indigestion. Basically, is all it is. And it's like you can live through it, but it's just really annoying. And so what I used to do for yard sales is I'd get up and I'd go get like a biscuit from Bojangles, which is like a popular restaurant down south, and it's delicious. A
Mhm.
thumbs up if you love Bojangles. And but
Never
like
ate
it
those.
hurts
Sounds
really
good though.
bad when I do that. So it's instead of telling you what I eat, which is may or may not be gluten-free English muffins, I'll tell you I'm like really weird. If I don't eat before I yard sale, I pick way worse. Like way, way worse. Like it's just
I could see that. I could see that if you're thinking,
yeah,
if you're
it's something about my
preoccupied.
brain, like it just doesn't turn on if I don't have food. And so I have to eat breakfast, and then usually by like 10, I'm stopping for a snack because I need like more brain fuel. And this is why, again, I'm looking to
I
get on
hear
my 600-pound life by 2023. We're gonna see if I can manage it.
you.
I think I'm following the right path.
I think I think just like Dawn's not a breakfast person and she's like a
Yeah.
go, 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 go person. And I'm like, we never do that. But usually the problem with, and this makes some sense with what you're saying, like how you're not focused at about 10:30, almost inevitably
Yes.
Dawn's like, I'm hungry. Like not
It's like
like, oh, I
wait,
could use a snack. It's like, I'm
forgive
hungry.
me.
Like,
It's
okay,
like
we're going to,
the
we're going to drive off the road if we don't get
no, she
food
turns
like
on
in
the
two
like great
minutes.
tone from
So
the guy from Dune today, where she's like forcing you pull over now.
exactly.
Harry's like, oh, McDonald's.
Exactly that voice. Exactly. Another reason why Dune was so good,
Dune
that
was
voice,
not
those
bad,
voices were
guys.
cool.
It was not a bad movie. I just
I kind of
no,
feel
I
like you
just
were
want to cut
disparaging a
out
little
like
bit
30
though.
minutes of boring cinematic garbage. Just no.
Just the
Just
action,
get
just
rid of
what
all the
more of
slow
the shots
motion.
of the
I
sand.
was thinking there's a ton of this like cinematic slow motion. Like, they paid a lot of money for their cameras and all the high frame rates they could do, so they want to show it off.
You want to show
And so
it.
like what I want to do is like implement that into my yard sale footage, right? Start recording at like 240 FPS, and just like as I'm walking up, just be like, like, oh, I'm gonna get the video game
It'd be cool, dude.
first.
I think there's a lot of market for
Yeah,
somebody
and like
mixing it up a little bit, because it is just the GoPro. Let's go out and garage sale, myself included. I don't know what the next step
well,
is, but it's
okay,
not going to be
I'll talk on that.
unless you're Froggy Flips, you're not going to get
Okay, I'll
200K
talk on all
views
that.
every
But
time
first, I
you
want to
do
say
one.
the idea is you're at the garage sale. I walk up to you. You're at a bunch of video games, and I say, "This is yard sales," and I kick you in the chest, and you fly off a cliff. Right, kind of like in 300, and then you
Exa-
die.
yeah, exactly. It's pretty exactly super topical 2021 300 reference. We're
Dude,
not
but
elder
no, seriously.
millennials at all here, guys. Have you seen Has anybody seen Sin City? It's amazing. It's like
I love
some
that
weird
movie, by the way.
hybrid,
Yeah,
like noir movie.
yeah,
Exactly. I know you do because we're the same. I know what I know, dude.
yeah.
Napoleon
Tina, you
Dynamite,
fat
man.
lard,
It's
eat your
kind of
dinner.
funny, and I think a little
Listen, my wife's name is Tina, and she did not
got some
like that
tots.
quote at all.
Algorithm on
Dude, we
YouTube
could
just
go all
went
night on this
bananas the
podcast
last two
because
weeks.
I tried to do shorts
It's
and I
true.
can't figure it out. Are you tagging your shorts like hashtags?
No, no, you used to have to do that. You don't anymore. Here's what I know about shorts, and it's reminding me of what happened with Reels. I was an early adopter on Reels, almost at the very start, and nothing happened because they didn't have their algorithm figured out. YouTube was worse. Shorts was terrible. Like they didn't know. Like when I went on Shorts, it was just I was getting random videos. And the cool thing about the short form video format of TikTok and Reels is they feed you what you're watching, so it's very intuitive. It's like, oh, you laughed at this cat video. Here's 77 more cat videos. You know what I mean? In a row. They're more nuanced about it. And I feel like Shorts finally started to
Mm.
figure out the algorithm part of it because I've had a couple go, 15, 16,000. Thrifter Sifter, Matt, he had one go like 170,000 and he went up like 1,000 subscribers. So I feel like with a person like me who's made their name with short form stuff, that's probably my way in to growth on YouTube.
Made another channel because I don't have enough channels. I
I
only have
know.
like 7. And so I made a channel called NC Picker Shorts. Okay, and it sounds like I'm picking people's shorts. I don't know. It sounds weird,
Yeah, it
but
is.
that's what it's called. NC picks your shorts.
Salute your shorts.
Salute your short. That was a
It's a
great show.
freaking
And Pete
amazing
and Pete
show.
too. What about Pete and Pete?
Pete and Pete was
That was
also great, dude. We need like a good solid hour just on classic
member berries.
Nickelodeon.
It
What?
reminds me. There's an episode of South Park where they do like member berries, where they just like talk about things from the '80s and
Oh
say
yeah.
member, member Pete and Pete, member.
There's a lot of podcasts about that. Just nostalgia sells, man.
All right, so NC Picker Shorts. I've posted 2 shorts, Carrie, and I
Yeah.
have a grand total of 1 view.
I
So I don't
think
know what's happening.
my intuition is saying that it's going to be hard with the fresh channel.
Okay.
Commonwealth also is blowing up on his auction channel, but he's built that up on like he's had a couple get 30, 40,000. So I think if
Yeah.
you, I don't know what to, yeah, I don't know if you want to put him on your flipper channel. But from what I understand about shorts is this, what little I understand is they only feed your shorts videos to people who commonly watch shorts. So it's not, I don't think it's getting plastered. Like, I think there's a lot of people on my account that are like, why hasn't he done a video in 3 weeks? When I've actually
Yeah.
done like 2 a day with shorts, if that makes
You're right.
sense. Like, it's just
Yeah.
going to, and all my views, almost all the views when I get them is through the shorts feed, which is the For You page. It's not
Yep.
like through my following. There's maybe 80 people who check out my shorts from my following. And
Okay.
then, so I don't know
Okay.
if it would hurt it as bad as you may think, but
Okay.
it's kind of, do you want to make an experiment on something that's already working well
That's
for
already
you? I don't
working.
know.
That's yeah, and it's growing, and so
Might as well
yes.
just keep pushing it and just realize it's going to be slow on the shorts channel for a while.
Yeah. Okay, so we should just address the elephant in the room, guys. This is a reselling podcast, but I don't think there's any way me and Carrie are going to avoid sometimes talking about content creation, since we both have active social media, YouTube, Instagram, TikToks, etc. If you do hate that part, it's probably not going away. So just probably don't listen.
Yeah,
We'll
I
talk
just
about
don't,
it.
I don't feel like it'd be organic if we like tried not to talk about things we were thinking
Yeah,
of.
it's part of who we are, right? We're content
Yeah.
creators. We're resellers. We are both. Right now, I make a lot more money reselling than content creation, but that may not always be the case. I don't know. Things are
There's been
going
months
well.
in the last year where I think I've made just as much, if not more, on content on some random months.
So, but reselling is a huge passion. I don't think I'll ever stop it, no matter what,
Well,
because
that's
I
all the content creation is just sharing our passion for reselling. I love reselling. I always have, always will.
yeah.
But I do enjoy. I am passionate about that end of it too. The creating content about it.
Well, and I've always so it's funny because I always wanted to do reselling full time, and to me, the content creation is what makes it seem possible. Only because I'm supporting a family of 5, and I've always been scared to do just full time reselling, only relying on that income because it is up and down, right?
Hmm.
Reselling income can totally be up, down, up, down. If
Cyclical.
you do find a way to make content creation income, it can be a lot more reliable and
Uh-huh.
consistent. And so to me, if I ever wanted to go full time as a reseller, I would want to have both things consistently going well for a few years. And then because I'm just like totally a security guy, like a
Oh
safety
yeah.
guy, and Carrie knows that. Like I want to make sure I have everything figured out and perfectly lined up, and then I'm not the kind of crazy like, oh, I'm just gonna quit my day job and just do this full time and see what happens. Like I'm just not that brave.
In my opinion, and I don't know your financial situation, you could do it. And let me put it the right way. You would survive if you did it right now, but you wouldn't be happy. You'd be uncomfortable and you'd be nervous and all that
Yeah,
stuff. And I'm sure you probably have it would change it changes everything because now you're paying your bills out of your picking money. You know what I mean? So
yep,
you have to you're doing it the intelligent, smart way,
yeah,
but you're obviously on the trajectory where you're going to give yourself options, and one of those options is going to be
yeah.
very cautiously and successfully being able to transition to a full-time reseller if that's what you choose, which I think you will.
I think I will. I think in a year. My guess is in a year I'll be at the spot where I'm like, ooh, I think I might do this now.
Lots of Austin Powers figures. Were you a big Austin Power guy back in the day?
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. That was a freaking
Yeah,
movement for about a year and a half
dude. Yeah,
there.
no, I was like really into the Austin Powers thing. Yeah. So you got anything good for the whatnot this week?
I got a pretty cool like anime toy with a giant sword that I'm going to be putting in. I got a what do you call it? A Zord figure here, just sitting here. I have to go through my boxes
You've
still,
got
but
to
that's just some of the
find
stuff.
you've got to find some vintage Ghostbuster sealed toys. There was one guy on whatnot auctioning those suckers off like Tuesday night or Wednesday night. He was selling for like $80 a piece. It was
Dang.
crazy.
Yeah,
It-
that's insane. I mean, I've definitely had a lot of real Ghostbuster hauls back in the day. I don't think I've had like one of the vehicles I had once in the box, but I don't. I guess that would have been sealed technically.
yeah,
Trying to think. I mean, it's been with the weather changing, it's going to make it a little bit more difficult to get.
that's like
You
the
know,
bolo of the week though, dude. Is like sealed Ghostbuster toys from the '80s. Really valuable, apparently. Didn't
oh
know
yeah,
that.
yeah. With the movie too, the new movie that
I'm
seems
excited
pretty
about
decent. It's
that.
coming
Yeah,
out.
it seems better than the last
Afterlife.
trash.
I liked the last one
I
okay, but definitely wasn't as good as the
It was
original.
not the original. I mean, that is the other thing. Like, you almost need the crappy one to get you ready for a good one, right? Like,
It's
you
true.
you have so much nostalgia, nothing really would be able to compare. So you need them to release something that isn't as good, so that you can then see something that is, comparable.
Let me see if you have a thought on this. What do you? I got a couple movies. What do you think? Did you play Uncharted, the video game? Because
Dude, I am
I loved
so
that game.
angry that they chose Tom Holland to be Nathan
It does
Drake.
not. He should be like
Freaking
15 to 20
ridiculous. I've
years.
never been more mad in my life.
I love that video game is
Yeah.
like such a great memory for me. I love that game, that series, and I've watched the trailer twice, and I'm worried a
Dude,
little
my
bit.
son could beat
Like
up Tom Holland, and he's 13.
I know.
Like, Nathan Drake
I
should be
mean,
like a rough and gruff 40-year-old guy that's like super ripped,
exactly.
but like kind of like, you know,
They should have just used who is it? The guy that did the
Nathan
voiceover,
Fillion,
whatever his
right?
name is.
They
Yeah,
should have used
Fillion. They should
Nathan
have just used
Fillion. He looks
Fillion,
exactly
which a
like
lot of
him.
people wanted him to
And
do.
he's got the
And
chops to do it. Like, basically, he is Nathan Fillion. Like, why would they use Tom Holland, a little boy? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
it's weird. And then Sully, I didn't feel like was Mark Wahlberg didn't seem. I feel like Sully's very charming and kind of. He always reminded me of like Clark Gable, like 1930s, 40s, like charming dude. Yeah, I feel like I didn't get
No,
any of that charisma
no,
or
it's
whatever
upsetting.
from Mark Wahlberg either. So I'm worried about it because I'm pumping it up. I'm so excited. I've told Dawn I want to see it eight
I
times
lost all
already,
my excitement
and
when I
I
saw Tom Holland. It's
it's kind of a bummer. What about the Batman? The
gone.
trailer looked
Okay,
kind of
so
crappy to me, dude.
I don't want to support them continuing to remake the same movies, but Riddler was my favorite bad guy from the old school Batman, the Michael Keaton's and such. Was Michael Keaton in the Riddler one?
Yeah,
Is that right?
I don't remember the Riddler. Like you
Jim
talking about?
Carrey.
Was that
Yeah,
Jim
yeah, yeah.
Carrey? That was Val Kilmer,
Oh yeah,
right?
that was Kilmer.
Or
Yeah, that might
Clooney?
have
I
been
don't even
Kilmer.
know.
But yeah, no, Jim Carrey was like the Riddler was my favorite Batman growing up. So like I am excited about the bad guy. I'm annoyed they're making another Batman and that I'm gonna have to pay them again to see a Batman. I don't even know who the actor is who's playing Batman.
It's Edward
Edward
from
Scissorhands?
Twilight, Robert Pattinson.
Oh no, he
Yeah,
died,
no,
dude, and he died in
the,
Goblet of Fire. Dead.
he did. You're right.
He didn't know.
People don't talk enough about how he was pretty important in the Harry
He's
Potter films
dead.
before he was on
Wait, are you
Twilight
telling
and
me they
everything.
brought?
Yeah, he's back, dude, and he's
Oh
Batman.
my god, my whole world just crumbled.
He's a pretty good actor,
Yeah.
honestly. He's done some pretty good stuff recently, but I watched it and it's the DC stuff, and I understand Dune was very much this way too. The cinematography and the tones that you use, like it's just way too like dark. The whole thing. I
Yeah.
mean, like I don't remember Christopher Nolan's Batman's. I mean, they were definitely
Mm.
edgy, but like it wasn't like so. I don't know, not dark in the sense of like it's a depressing movie, but like the way they film it's very like I don't know. I have bad eyesight and I don't have glasses, so I'm just not gonna be
Heaven
able to see
forbid you
half
go to
this
the eye
stuff.
doctor. Dude,
I
it's
know,
so
dude.
cheap.
Heaven forbid
Go
I
ahead
do
and
any of
comment
this
down
stuff
below
I
how
should
cheap
do.
Carrie is.
I know. I worked at Sam's Club for like 6 months last year, and it was like $5 to get glasses. I still didn't go over and get them.
Maybe it shouldn't be called American arbitrage. Just be called American cheapskates.
It's true, man. No, I need to go. I've That's like one of the things like I need to go get. And one day I'll just have this overwhelming film feeling that I've got
Yeah,
to do it
yeah.
today, and I'll just do it. And that could be tomorrow, or that could be in 30 years. I don't know
When I've got glaucoma. Okay,
exactly,
we're gonna end this,
but
Carrie. But yeah, don't hang up. But yeah, we're gonna end the podcast. Thank you guys for watching. Come back next week. Make sure you subscribe and peace out.